Hello, guys. So, this is my first episode, and I don't know why it has taken me so long to record it. And I got to thinking, I feel like we all do this. We all procrastinate on the thing that we know we should do. We procrastinate on the thing that we want to so badly create and have it finished. And I was thinking, why is that? Why am I procrastinating on my first episode where it's just the intro? It's just about you. You know all the answers. You know what you've been through. You know your journey. You know who you are. And yet that has been the most challenging out of all the episodes I wanted to produce. And I wanted to bring this before I start talking about myself, because that's another challenge. I want this whole podcast to be about the learnings, the lessons, the journey I've been through, the wisdom I acquire both in business and in life. And I just want to get to it. And I want to bring the most amazing guests that want to be real and raw and vulnerable and open up and let us know about their own experience and lessons, and share that with you guys. And I really hope that it's reciprocated and that I build this environment where I feel that I can be myself and that I can truly express what's in my head and what's in my heart, and to have a platform like this where the words will just hopefully come out of me and into your heart and ears and truly grasp that message that hopefully is the message that you need that day, to continue your year. And that is exactly why I want to start this, and I want to produce the best content. And as I was doing it, I found myself getting into the cycle of, I'll wait until this happens. I'll wait until I'm in the mood. I'll wait until maybe it's a nice Saturday night and I have a glass of wine and I get more comfortable. And I'll wait until maybe if I get my 4K camera in, maybe I'll look even better. And I just found myself in the cycle of this, I'll wait until. And I think we all do that. We procrastinate because we want to wait until it's perfect. We want to wait until I have the perfect setting, until I have the perfect camera. I'll wait until he doesn't do this one more time. And it's in every single part of our lives. I'll wait until I have X amount of money to start that business. I'll wait until I'm ready. I'll wait until Monday when I start my diet. Everything. We want to wait until it's perfect. We want to wait for the right moment. And the reality of it, we're never ready. And just with this episode, and this is how I see every thought that goes through my mind, and how I see and how I go through life is I extract the positive from every experience. I attract the lesson the universe is trying to give me, and it's like, what can I learn from this? And in a way, it's a little washing for me to just get throughout the day and get through really hard experiences. But I have trained my mind to just see the positive, allow, accept, and feel the pain and go through it, knowing that I will get through it. And so this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to bring the coping mechanisms that I have acquired through the challenges that I have been through. And even though, yes, I'm still in my 20s, I've been through some stuff and I'm out of it. And so if I can let you know what I did, because it's all mental, a lot of it's your mindset and how you look at it and how you want to perceive that challenge. And so as I was trying to record this episode, I found myself in that cycle of, I'll wait until it's the perfect moment. And I wasn't honoring the exact title of this podcast, which is Being Real and Raw. And here I am. I'm just going to start it. I'm going to record it. And I truly hope that I start to develop that natural message and sharing, and how natural I am on my Instagram stories, because that's how it stemmed. I used to just get on when I felt it, and I used to just share that message with everybody, or that learnings. And it wasn't about me, it was about the lesson. And even though a lot of it came from my own um, journey and experiences, I never let you guys know that, oh, this is exactly what happened. This was the name of the person involved. It was just about the lesson, because that's the most important. And so this is why this episode is the most challenging for me, because I get to talk about myself, but I think it's really important that you guys understand my background and where I'm coming from. And I truly want to be more open with you guys and truly allow you guys to get to know me and hopefully connect online or offline. And so with that, I just want to be as real and raw as possible as these episodes progress. I know I will improve. I'll get more comfortable. I will express more. And I really hope that each message really resonates with you guys. And that was my procrastination too, is like, I don't know if I can structure the message to come out of me, because usually it just at 3 a.m. on my notes app, I just get the message out, or I have my voice memos and I just think about it, and it feels so refreshing and so natural and so passionate. And I get those moments and I say I'm channeling this message from the universe to the world when I'm driving, when I'm working out, when I'm in the shower, when I'm out just thinking, walking my dog. That is when the messages come. And so I was holding myself back, knowing that this is more structure. This has a mic. This has a computer. I have some notes, but I want to make sure I deliver the best message. But I'm going to do it messy. I'm going to do it here. I'm going to do it as if we're just having a conversation, and I know I will improve and get better, and I'm open to criticism, because that is how I will get better. And if I can receive the best feedback, whether it's to improve something, I'm so open to receiving it. So I appreciate it. So with that said, I mean, there is a message in this intro as well, just to stop waiting for I'll wait until this. I'll wait until this, then I'll do it. Take action now, do it messy, and then pivot, then adapt, then change. Because the only thing that you know for sure, hopefully, about yourself is that, I know for me, is like, I will always figure it out. No matter if I don't have the answers, that's not going to stop me. I will ask, I will put my guard down and ask for help. I will figure it out, and I trust myself. So whatever you do, whether, I know during these times are hard, maybe there's a breakup, a divorce, or changing of careers. Not only that, maybe changing careers and industries, or learning something new, or wanting more for yourself, and you're going through that learning curve. Know that you already have what it takes, and know yourself so well that you will figure it out, and trust yourself that you will. So that's all you need. All the tools that you need, that you know that you have, and who you are at the core, take that with you. That's all with you. Even when you get fired, or you just want to transition, and that job is no longer serving you, or that person is no longer serving you, and you don't know how to break up with them, or you don't know if they break up with you, and you feel lost, and you can't live without them, which I totally don't agree. Know that you have yourself. Know that you have that toolbox to go in whatever direction. And it's a learning curve, and that's natural for you to doubt yourself. But I think everybody should have a list of what they know for sure about themselves in order to move forward in different directions after a breakup, or after you move careers in a whole new industry. Just know that you can trust yourself, and that you'll figure it out. And it's almost like during this time, COVID did not give the world time or day, or COVID did not let us know, like, hey, I'm about to do this. Y'all better be ready. Like, no, that's not what happens. But do you understand the type of person you are, that how you reacted to it? And I know it is one of the most hardest things, but guess what? we're not doing it together. We're all in this together. Literally, as cheesy as it sounds, the whole world is in this together. And it's more presented, it's more out there. So if you look at it, there's a lot of people going through the same thing that you think that you're alone. They just don't speak about it. It just happened to happen that during this time this year and this challenge that COVID came about, that we're all in this together, and we can be vocal about it, not be embarrassed, and not be like, hey guys, I had this huge retail opening and I just opened this new business and I put thousands of millions of dollars into it, and this challenge came about and now I'm in debt and I don't know what I'm going to do. But guess what? Everybody's coming out in the spotlight because that happened to a lot of people. And so think about what you're going through, that you feel like you're the only one. And most of the time you're not, because there's a lot of people that are going through the same thing, and there's help out there and there's people out there. This is why each medium and platform where people get to speak about their learnings and their challenges. And this is another way why I want to do this podcast, is to really talk about the challenges and the hardships and the failures, because I feel like the success is short-lived, because that shadows what it actually took to get there. And I have a lot of successes, but the reality of it is, like, let me tell you what it takes to do that. And those that want to sign up and sign that, what I love to call is the entrepreneurship vows to yourself, of like, I'm going to take on this journey with those challenges, because now I know I understand those. And so success comes with the price and sacrifice, and I want to make sure that once you sign up for that success, which is not guaranteed at all, but you want to take a shot at it and you don't have to do it alone, that you understand what it takes and some of those failures and sacrifices that you have to go through, and knowing that you're not alone. But that can also change, and there could be numerous of new challenges. It's just, again, taking your core values of who you are, of your toolbox, your coping mechanisms, of like, okay, no matter what it is, I will get through it. So let's just say if you have that list with you, or you remind yourself of that, and COVID hit, is just like, how do I see this and how do I pivot and change and make it better? Because I know it sucks what we're going through. It's a lot of people are suffering in multiple different ways, not only in business, but it's like, how do I bounce right back up with knowing, like, I understand what I'm going through. I'm going to feel it. There's no way I want to say that, put those feelings aside and be a warrior, because it will take a toll and everything will surface. Your feelings would surface. So always honoring your feelings and what you're going through, and not being this macho, strong warrior with this iron vest and just going about just dismissing the challenges and being strong, because at the end of the day, we're all human and we all need to feel. We need to understand those feelings, and we need to let the ego step aside and be okay with being a starter, being okay with being a learner, and being okay with not knowing. So a lot of this theme too is about the uncertainty. And that's what I want to talk about too, is I went through a transitioning in my life the last year and a half of the uncertainty, that I was the planner. I was the one that had my whole life figured out. And then something happened where the rug got pulled out of my feet. And this was a time where everything that I thought I knew, or who I was becoming, or what I was going to do and how my life was going to unfold in the next 5, 10, 20 years, completely changed. And that was a year and a half ago. And so for me to have the privilege to let you know, this is what I did when I went through uncertainty and my own self-quarantine, because I did that. I had my own self-quarantine, and that allowed me to look inward and introspective and really have those tough conversations and rebuild my relationship with myself. And so I'm here to let you know that I am not all the way on the other side of it, but I've gone through it enough to let you know that you will get through it. And I am in such better state now, and I want to give you those tools and exercises that I did that truly did help me, and I think it will help a lot of people, especially during this time of the uncertainty and not knowing. And I really do hope that they help you. So here I am, 20 minutes into this episode, and I still can find the way to be selfish and talk about myself, because I know you guys need to understand and know who I am, and that's always changing. I'm all about growth and change and personal development and evolving. And I have found new personality traits that I have acquired and worked on that go totally against with who I thought I was. And that is the beauty of it. So let me tell you, as a historian, my journey of growing up and my background, just so you get a little background about me. And I would love to share, and that already happened. And I'm just really excited for you guys to get to know me on a deeper, more raw and real, vulnerable state of who I am and what has made me who I am today. And so I was born in Mexico, Jalisco. That's why I'm a tequilera. Just kidding. I should actually take a shot of tequila right now. I was born in Mexico, in Jalisco. I am one of 5 kids, 3 older sisters, and myself and my younger brothers, so 5 total. And we came to the United States when I was 3 or 4 years old. Didn't know the language. My parents didn't know the language. And my childhood, how was my childhood? My childhood was full of excitement. I was a tomboy. I love sports. I was in every single sport, but my most favorite one was basketball. And that is the feeling when I was playing basketball growing up, literally from when I was little up to like high school and even some college intramurals. But the feeling that I remember playing basketball was such a competitive, confident, quiet, hidden weapon that I was. I love that sport. And that sport, now that I reflect on it, I feel like it was my escapism from growing up. So I grew up really humble in West Phoenix, Maryville area, and I was always out. I came up growing up in a very humble household, always love, always supportive, but always in a very survival mode. And that caused a lot of nervousness and anxiety growing up, especially my relationship with money. But one thing I did know for sure is that my work ethic is impeccable to anybody. I work so much. I love that adrenaline of just working on something and creating a masterpiece and becoming a master at your craft. And I think I have always done that. And that's one trait that everybody knows me for. If they have seen me in whether it's in school or playing sports or creating something or even in the work environment, I have always worked my ass off. And I got that from my mom. So my mom became a single mom from, as young as I can remember. I don't know, I was probably in my earlies. I was 9 years old, 10 years old. You know, it was a back and forth thing where they're separated, but still living in the same household. So it was really confusing. Growing up with a single mom, and she had to work a lot. She worked 3 jobs. And so I got to see that she was always working, and that made it really hard for me to ask for help and to say that I was either emotionally or needing help in school or whatever it was. And so growing up in a very humble, having come up from very humble beginnings, I always had to be the child that never asked for help or never needed the help. And I always figured it out. And I always worked really hard. And school was my number one priority. And I was very well rounded. And so I knew that I did not want to give my mom trouble or any problems because, one, she had to deal with probably two or three of my siblings that were giving her troubles of getting expelled from school or fighting or all these things. So I was the quiet one. I was observant. I was always listening, and I always had to do my best. And so I just figured it out on my own. I became very, very independent at a young age. I worked as soon as I was 14 years old, whatever the legal age. I just worked, not because I wanted to, because I needed to take care of myself. Again, I did not want to be a burden for my mom because she already had 5 kids to take care of. And I started working really young, and I took care of myself financially, and I made sure that I got around in the city bus. And then again, that city bus lesson that I learned that I'm so grateful now. Back then, when I was taking the city bus, I was always, every single day I took it, I was very frustrated of, why can I be like the other kids? And I have my straight A's. I just want to play sports, and I just want to be a student. Why can't I just be a student? Why do I have to work? Why do I have to have so much challenge in finding transportation? And now I understand, and that was a little ungrateful for me. But as a young girl taking the city bus all the way from elementary school all the way to high school, knowing that I was doing the best I could to be a student and getting straight A's, it was very hard for me to understand that. But the biggest lesson that I did taking the city bus was, 1, independence. 2, I was an observant, and I got to see so many different people and the interactions and how people connected. And I think that really helped me increase my emotional intelligence of how people interacted and how I react in certain situations. There was times when there was fights in there. There was times where I got to see people shoot up whatever that was in a needle. And I didn't understand that back then. And now I know. And I also got to meet amazing people, and I got to see the struggle, the everyday struggle in different types of forms, whether it was a mom with her 2 kids and she was ready to go to work and the kids were going to school, and seeing that and seeing the struggle of running after a city bus. And I would tell the city bus driver to wait for them because I knew the struggle. And then I saw fights, and then I saw homeless people, and then I had to keep a straight face when somebody was just peeing right next to me. And so that taught me a lot at a very young age. And I take that with me all along my journey of being humble, being grateful in every single situation, knowing that it's temporary. Like, who would have thought that if you just keep working at it, knowing that this is hard and I'm not seeing any progress, that I can be in this country and work really hard and smart, and things just work out where I was counting every single dollar and penny, and we always grew up on that survival mode with 5 kids and a single mom, and having to be on the city bus. And then in my 20s, working so hard that I earned the opportunity to have the quote unquote American dream. And then now being humble again and having to rebuild from that. And I'm okay with that now because, again, the tools that I gain of how to get through those challenges, and I'm having to do it again. And I'm the most grateful for it because now I get to extract the lesson faster. Now I get to see the positivity from it. And now I get to see that regardless of my financial status or where I'm at temporarily, knowing that this does not define where I want to become, and knowing that I'm a millionaire in my head more than I am financially on paper for now. in my heart that I have the biggest heart, and I just want to continue, whether people screw me over, or betrayed me, or I went through the hardest heartache. I know that we can all move forward from it, and not forgetting, but accepting it, being grateful for the challenges. And that is what my whole journey is about. And so I love my childhood. I would play outside on the streets. I don't know if any of you guys remember this, or hopefully there's kids out there that are still playing outside. There's a basketball court. But that was my childhood. My childhood was playing outside until the lights came out, and then crying because I didn't want to go inside because I love the sport of basketball and I just wanted to play out. But I was the only girl. I was a tomboy playing with all these older kids. And my mom was like, and it doesn't look right. Again, growing up, where it's like, that's not right for a girl to be playing with guys. It doesn't look right. But guess what? That has been my story ever since. And now I have embraced it and accepted. And that was the same in boardrooms, walking in and there's all men. And I just have to be like, yep, I'm here. I'm not the secretary, or I'm not whatever you think I might be, just because of my looks and because I'm young and I look like I just got out of college or a trade school, whatever it is. And I'm here as the COO of a 9-figure company. And you will respond to me because we're going to have this eye-to-eye conversation, and you will respect the fact that this is my role and it might not fit, or I might not fit that look. And so I have learned to accept every single one of those comments, and I'm here to change people's minds and perspective on what something should look like, just because it should be in this box or category. Well, there's so many of us that are multifaceted, and we're so rare, and we can be categorized because we're on so many different spectrums of who we are. And so school was very important for my mom and for me. And I was a straight A student. I was the studious student. I worked really hard to get my straight A's, and I earned it regardless of having to wake up 2 hours earlier to take that city bus, or having to go work right after school and still get back home and start my homework at 10 p.m. That is what I had to do, even if I didn't like it, because my work ethic was there. My dream was bigger than my excuses and me not wanting. And I'm so happy I had that energy as well to complete that. And so I took a lot of pride on my schoolwork, and I got the straight A's, and I was an honor roll student, and I was multiple years MVP of multiple sports. And I just love sports, and I love interactions and connecting with people. And now looking back at it, as I'm doing all the inner work, that could have been my escapism, where I get to spend a little bit more time at school, and I don't have to go home and listen to the violence at home, or listen to all the problems that all my siblings have, or that my parents are fighting about, or there's always financial issues. Maybe that was my way, where I got to be so good, where I was finally recognized for something. And so whether that's true or not, now I get to see it as a blessing of like, I'm still that person that tries really hard, that figures it out, that doesn't like the excuses, and that knocks every single negative comment as it comes up. And as it comes up, I say thank you, but you don't belong. You don't belong in my head right now. Or thank you for coming up. I see your concern, but that is a false, not valid concern that is coming out of fear, that is coming from a protective mechanism. Thank you. But that fear that comes out of you is no longer needed as I'm growing and evolving into this new person that I am. And so that's the conversations I have with myself. And it's hard to feel alone and knowing that the embarrassment comes up and you don't know who to talk to or what you're dealing with. Again, like the feeling of loneliness as you're evolving and growing into this new journey. And again, like growing up with, yes, a lot of siblings, but at the same time, I kept to myself a lot. I was a loner that loved to be out and playing sports and being very funny and charismatic and smart. But my mind, there's always a thousand and thousands of thoughts going through my head, and I'm very introspective. And so these are the conversations I have with myself. So school is really important. I ended up going for ride to ASU. I got so many scholarships. Again, I was very studious. School was very important for me and my mom, and I wanted to make her proud. And I got my straight A's, and I was top of my class, top 2%. I applied to all these scholarships. I poured my heart out on these essays. I went into the interviews. I was myself, and I told my story as it was. I was not embarrassed of my story. I talked about my hardships, the being raised by a single mother, having the scarcity mindset of not having any funds to go to college, and knowing that I tried really, really hard to get those straight A's and wanting to continue my education. And I'm so happy that that passion and that authenticity came out of me during those interviews and on that essay, and the numbers confirmed it through my grades and my extracurricular activities. And I got so many scholarships. I was so grateful that for the first time in my life, I was able to be a full-time student. I had that option, and that's all I wanted in this world, is to have options, to put effort in the things I wanted and what I was doing, but to have options, to finally be able to get a little bit of help from all the work that I have been doing in high school, and say, here, you have the golden ticket to go to college 100% paid for. And I'm so grateful for that. And I want to give myself credit for that, because those were the long nights where I came back from work and I just wanted to go to sleep. I was literally and physically tired. And I said, no, I'm going to get up. I'm not going to go to sleep. And I'm going to finish this math homework, honors, that is already hard, but I'm not going to give up, and I'm going to do it because I know this is going to pay off. And so believe in yourself, and just putting that extra effort and that extra minute to the things that you don't want to do, building that discipline will give you the confidence, and everything's going to align. And trust the process and continue to be your best at everything that you did. And so that was my own validation. I got everything paid for. I went to ASU. I went to the business school. I graduated with an accounting degree in 3 years. And that was another very challenging time of my life, because I wanted to graduate and work in corporate America in the best accounting firm, which I did and I got. And I'm so happy and proud of myself for doing that. And I don't give myself enough credit, because it already happened. And looking back at it is like, oh, I got it, I did it. But what it took to get there was very challenging. Again, I'm young, minority. I don't have anybody in my family who has a college degree. And now I am having to go up against all these students that probably got, I had a couple candidates that told me that they practice a lot for their interview, and that they actually got help, or they're like, oh yeah, my cousin's part of this firm and he put a good word in for me. So those are the type of students I was going against. And I was like, wow, this is going to be a lot harder than I thought, but I did it. I went, I interviewed, and I got the job for Deloy, and I'm extremely grateful. And I learned so much about leaderships, and there's so many great people that I met at that organization. It's a really amazing organization, what they do and how they make you feel inclusive. And it's a badge of honor to be able to say, I come from Maryville, West Phoenix, here in Phoenix, Arizona, and I got to travel to California, LA, and Texas for this company that gave me a corporate card with my name. I never even had an American Express card with my name. And I just thought that was the most flashy thing that I had. And I was like, again, that scarcity mindset of like, well, how much should I spend on it? And even though we had a budget, I still didn't spend it. I was like, I'm only going to have one meal today because it's already expensive. I just feel really bad spending this corporate card. And when I actually had enough for 3 meals, but that's a whole other story about the scarcity mindset and the relationship with money and how I grew up with it. And I have rebuilt that relationship with money. But that was the thing. That was like, oh, I knew I made it when I got a corporate card with my name and it's American Express. Like, isn't it really hard to get an American Express card? Like, I was just blown away. I got through college. I graduated. I was working with Deloy. I pretty much felt super proud to let my mom know that I have the most secure job and nothing's going to happen because taxes are going to be around. All these public companies need to be audited. Like, I am the most secure job. Mom, I made it. I did it for you. And that's exactly when the little whispers in my body were like, this doesn't feel right. Like, I don't feel included. I feel like I want to do more. I feel like because of my story and my background, where I came from, and I have so much passion and creativity to do more, that I want to do more than just spreadsheets. And even though I had amazing relationships and I was actually working for PetSmart and I loved working for them. Like, they got to take their pets in the office. And I was like, that's so cool. I love this culture. But every single day it was almost like, is this what you're supposed to be doing? And it's almost like I see, okay, what's my next challenge? Because Ruby always wants more challenges and to do the impossible. And so I was like, okay, I want my next goal I want to become the youngest Hispanic women partner in this firm. I was like, I want to become a partner. I want to be the youngest one because I'm always trying to challenge myself, not to see if I can do it, but to accomplish that, to be the example so others can do it. I want to see more women do it. So everything that I acquire and who I am is a chance for me to accomplish something and let those people in those categories know that it's possible. So young, coming from the hood, Hispanic, a woman, or like not having any background, or your parents didn't go to college, like all these things that are an excuse or a hindrance for people that they put in their heads that it's not possible. Like, I want to be that example that is possible for you to accomplish. And so that is my biggest motivational driver, because I know I have it in me, and it takes a lot. And sometimes I do have the self-doubts, and I'm not perfect. And this is another reason why I want to show you guys the real and raw side of the challenges, whether it's me or a guest on my show. It's about doing the impossible, getting through the challenges, making sure they're not excuses, but also letting you guys know that we're not perfect and things are challenging, but it's how you approach it, the toolbox that you have to help you get through it, the people that you have around you. And so I want to develop this community where you feel that support, where even if it's through words or an episode of like, how do you get through this, or how do you get through bankrupt, how do you get through a divorce, like those topics that you're going through and that you don't see the light at that moment. I want to bring guests in, and I want to tell you from my experience as well that, hey, it's okay. Allow the feelings to come, allow everything to surface, accept it, and let's take this as a learning experience, and let's move on to a better you. And this is an example of, this is why it had to happen. And that's my biggest reason. And so I decided that that wasn't creative enough for me, because at that point I was realizing that I am this huge passion. I'm this huge passionate person that loves to create, whether because I'm a woman or I'm just creative, and I create from the heart. I just wanted to do more, and I wanted to give more, especially coming from my background. I wanted always to give back to students, and I always did speaking events, and I mentored a lot of students coming from where I came from. And it is my happiest moment to be in front of people and letting them know, like, again, I was in your seat not too long ago. It's possible. And so it is a challenge for me to continue doing the impossible, or what feels like you shouldn't be doing it, and go back to my community or to ASU and let them know, like, hey, I did it. This is how I did it. And I'm just here as an example, letting you know that you can do it. So soon after I listened to that whisper in my body of wanting more and wanting a different direction, that was one leap of faith that I went into a marketing agency that my then boyfriend started, and I was still in college, and I just wanted to help him out, and he needed all the help he needed. He wanted all the help he needed, and I was this brain, and I had the time, and I had the dedication and the work ethic, and I said, let's do it. I'm on board. And he offered me the position to leave corporate America and go into a marketing agency. And again, it was almost like a startup environment. So it's like, let's figure it out. And what I knew about myself was that I am really good at just figuring it out. And I'm really good at being that support system for somebody that it's a risk taker and that figures it out and pretty much goes through walls. And I love picking up after them, because that is the exciting part about being in that startup environment. And I think I thrive in it because I'm very organized, detail oriented, and I work in the background, and I love operations and team building. And I had all the right skills to help my then boyfriend to do what he needed to do to really excel at his own craft of being an entrepreneur. And so we did that. And in the meantime, we were working on our own e-commerce brand internally, knowing that we were continuing to learn, to give the best practices, practicing the trends for our clients then. And so that is where the e-commerce company called Snow, that has now taken the digital presence and has taken the whole e-commerce by storm, and has made huge headlines. And I'll go more in depth onto creating that e-commerce store. But that's where it was born. And it was born from a problem, and my partner expressed a problem, and he got jaw surgery, and he wanted to invest into a brighter, whiter smile, and he wanted the convenience of doing it at home. And so that is where that product was born, through a problem. And we just tried it out. It's like, this is exactly what I wish was out there, and this is the problems that I wish it solved, and let's just try it out and figure it out. And we had that privilege of learning as we go, and because we were doing the services, we also wanted to make sure that we knew what we're doing with our clients. And so this was a project that stemmed from a problem from my partner. And so we ended up creating this product called Snow that we had no idea was going to take off. And so we worked on it. The reciprocation of the customers wanting it was out of this world. Like, we couldn't keep up. And so he ended up taking one of his biggest decisions of shedding and selling off a successful agency that we built, to just going full time on this product, on this e-commerce product that had no guaranteed, but the demand was there, the need was there, and customers really wanted it. And so we ended up just going all in And I remember it was the scariest thing, but it was something that we couldn't look back, and we both went in to being full time on this business. And it honestly took off, and I didn't expect it, and I'm sure he didn't. And that's where Snow taught me most of my e-commerce skill set from. So I ended up we both did everything from the beginning. So I ended up doing the fulfillment, the customer service, the orders, the packaging, the product development. And that is where I got to shine most of my skill sets, was through operations, was creating. Again, I was this creative person who just needed all that energy out, and I got to experience that, and I'm so happy I did. And I developed amazing product with my detail in every single product, and that empathetic side of me to want to give the customers the best experience they've ever had came through that. So I developed this amazing unboxing experience, and it wasn't like that from the beginning. At the beginning, now looking at it, is like, oh my God, this packaging is horrendous and it's horrible compared to what we have now and what I developed. It's the progression of, wow, you kept improving while you care about your customer's experience, while you care about the product, you're always improving it, making it better. And I had that flexibility, and I had that open space to just roam around, and I had that environment where I was okay to mess up and to be innovative and creative. And when you are in a startup environment, you get that. And I think that's the beauty of it, where you don't have all the answers, you're figuring it out, but you have the safetiness of creating an environment where let's try things out. It's almost like a lab. Like, let's try this out. It might not work, but if it does work, it will be revolutionary. And that is what we created at Snow. And that is why I hope I gave that feeling when I was there to the employees of like, it's okay. We're going to make mistakes. We're doing something no one else is doing, but we're all in this together. We're a team. Let's figure it out. And there's so many different mistakes, and a lot of them cost a lot of money, but we learned from it. And it was just an amazing space that I was in, growing this company from ground zero, from scratch, from an idea, from just figuring it out. And like now looking back at it, which brings me so much joy, because I see the exact same thing in a lot of these e-commerce companies, and a lot of my clients that I work with. I smile, and not because it's like, oh, I'm smiling at or laughing at your challenges. Like, I get so excited knowing that I know the answer, and that I remember. It's such a humbling experience to be taken back on, I remember that was year one when we're barely expanding internationally, and I had to figure that out. And I remember the packages I was sending that would never get to customers because I was sending it through USPS, but now this is the consolidator I use, or this is the printer I use, that we went through 5 different printers, and it was regular printer at first in the warehouse, and now we have this thousands of dollars worth and this amazing printer that's a laser printer for the warehouse that's more efficient, that saves money, that prints labels. Like, all these little details, I see it and I get excited knowing that your systems, your process, and your life is about to change because I'm here to help you. And so that's what gets me excited. And so working on this e-commerce store took a really, I think it was like a marathon. It was a marathon, knowing that I can work a lot. I can put my creative into it. I have my work ethic. And so that took a big toll on me. And this is why I'm here, to let you know that you need to take care of yourself. If not, you can't take care of your business or the people around you. And I experienced that. I was with Snow from the very beginning, creating that, doing everything I could until until December 2019, where I decided to leave. And I decided to leave right after Black Friday, Cyber Monday, which was the biggest days of the year for us. And I said that I'm going to just put the white flag up, whatever you want to call it, and say, I need some time to take care of myself, because this has taken a toll mentally, emotionally, and physically on my health and me, and I need to take care of myself. If not, I don't know where I'm going to end up. And that is exactly the transitioning and what I call the rumbling from Brene Brown of my transition to choosing myself. And so I want to say 2019 was the biggest year of my life, where everything just turned around 360, changes, uncertainty, everything changed for me. And I mean, I was going through the biggest and most painful heartache. I had just separated from my long-term relationship of almost 10 years of friendship relationship, building a company with my ex-boyfriend, really sacrificed our relationship in order to build $100 million company. And I'm so grateful for the experience I got in that relationship. And at the same time, being able to work with somebody, even after the separation, that's another whole other episode. But I truly want to give myself credit for that. I got to learn that I'm stronger than I ever thought going through that. And I know I'm really strong mentally, emotionally, but also it covers up more of your vulnerability and who you are and being open. And I'm learning through that of like, it's okay to be in a business partnership again, even though things didn't go as planned, or it's okay to blend business and personal from time to time. But this time around, make sure there's these things that come up and all these learning lessons. And I believe every single challenge brings such a lesson for your next journey. And it's acquiring all these experiences in order for you to level up and become better for yourself. And in that way, you get to experience it, share the wisdom with a lot of people. And that is what I believe makes the world go around, and hopefully a better place if everybody learns and takes the positivity and extracts the lessons from every challenge. And so 2019 was a year of transitioning where that was my uncertain year. That was my own dealings with my own internal demons. And the first time where, one, I chose myself. I decided to walk away from something I built. I decided to walk away from the last thing I had that didn't change for me, which was working in and at Snow. And I just decided to truly walk away. It's almost like I didn't have a choice, because I needed to choose myself. If not, I wouldn't be here to choose whatever I'm about to embark on. And I did it. And it was the hardest thing to do, to put yourself to do something that you know you don't want to do. It is a internal struggle. And I dealt with it for so long, and even the aftermath of it, the pain, I walked away and I lost, and I have to rebuild, and being in that mentality and that victimization, but also knowing that you have to grieve and go through it. So I lost my best friend, my mentor, my boyfriend of almost 10 years that we built this really strong bond together. I lost the company I built. I lost the lifestyle that I earned and created for me. And now I have to truly rebuild my lifestyle and just learn to take care of myself financially. Is like, this is a huge learning lesson on its own. Like, can I just learn one thing? Can I just learn how to get over a heartbreak? Can I just choose a lesson I get to learn? Like, no, you don't. You get every single lesson at once. And I think I might as well just do it and go through it. And so here I am rebuilding everything from scratch. But I hate saying from scratch, because I have gained so much experience and wisdom in business. I am such a business savvy woman that I love, and I love to share all my learnings. And I never got to understand how valuable or how smart I was until I was out of that, until I was really connecting with other people. I learned how to rebuild this relationship with myself, to really, I had to go to the deepest end of having no confidence, low self-esteem. I didn't think I was worth it. I had to question everything. And now I'm rebuilding those thoughts, those lines, like how I talk to myself, how I present myself. And I'm in so much, I'm in a better state mentally and emotionally, knowing that, oh, now I have the most confidence that I have enough to give the whole world. And it's not every day that I feel this way. So when I do, I appreciate it. And I'm so happy I am in this state. And it might come off as a little arrogance, but if you knew the state I was a year ago, where I didn't believe in myself 1 ounce, then you would not understand. And just like Oprah says, like, I want to overfill my cup so there's enough to go around. And I will never not prioritize myself ever again, because that year, 2019, it was all about everybody else. It was all about the employees, the company. It was all about, what do you need? It was always all about everybody else. And that was the first year being single again. So I started seeing those patterns come up, is like, what do you want? What do you need? What can I do for you? It's like, hold on. We are prioritizing Ruby here, and what does she need and what does she want? And let's speak up on your needs and wants, and let's stand up for what you deserve, and understanding what you actually deserve. And so that whole year of uncertainty and my own quarantine, and I was very alone and depressed, and I lived on my own for the very first time in years. I mean, before I was 18, I never lived on my own. And so many learning curves, so many. At the same time, I felt like I was in this batting cage, and then all these balls were coming at me, and it's like, I just want to focus on one. Can I just learn how to hit one out of the park? But sometimes life throws all these lessons and challenges at you at once, because it knows that you're stronger, that you need to go through these in order to have empathy for others that are going through it. So you are the shining light for everybody else and yourself. And I didn't lose anything. Like, for me, I've gained so much, and I'm taking all this knowledge. Like, I am in such a better place. And the thing I decided, what I actually lost, I gained. And my biggest gain from this is myself. As cheesy as it sounds, like, I gained myself, and I'm so happy I did that. Like, I'm so happy everything happened for a reason. And the biggest gain for me was gaining myself, was gaining that self-worth, the self-love with myself. And that's so invaluable, and just the lessons in business as well. And so where I'm at right now, I am just figuring out life as I go. This time on my own terms. This time I get to truly choose who I want to work with. I am transitioning. I am mentally and emotionally and physically in the best states of my life. I am in a higher, more positive, more enlightened, more awake state of more conscious, more aware, more introspective. I'm so happy with who I am becoming. And I know it's a progress, and I'm so compassionate with myself, and I'm so giving and caring and loving. And I want to continue to help others, both in business and challenges that people don't know how to deal with. And I'm not saying I have all the answers. I'm not saying that I'm done learning. I'm always learning and evolving, but it's just, let me help you with what I know, or let me help you know, because at the end of the day, you have all the answers. And that's what I figured out too. You have all the answers. Let me just get them out of you, because there's so much in your head, so much convolution in your head, that you don't get to truly sit with yourself and ask yourself those questions, because you're not in the right state of mind of being calm and seeing things clearly, because it's so much stress and anxiety, whether you're going through a challenge in business or your personal life. Let me help you get that out of you, because you have the answer. Let me just help you a little. Let me guide you. I love to be a guide. I love to teach. I love to listen. I'm such a listener and observant, and I'm very intellectual stimulated, but by problems, by challenges. I am a problem solver, and I love helping people. And so where I'm at now, I am just consulting. I am playing around with some projects in the works that I'm excited to bring out. It is the most scariest thing, both on a learning, on a removing the ego again and being a learner again. I think it's such a humbling experience for me to start from the bottom, knowing that I came from running a $100 million company so smoothly, so easily. When I was there, I was in my flow. I was in my state of loving what I did, and I truly did. But now it's such a humbling experience to have to start from scratch. Again, not from scratch. I have knowledge. I have experience. I'm so grateful. But that's what it feels like. It feels like rebuilding from scratch, coming from a place of having the best role, leading teams, operational wise, being in my zone of genius, as I like to call it. Like, I was there. And so being in a state of like, I don't know what I want to sink and commit my time to yet, because I don't feel it yet, but I know for sure that I regain my passion from helping others, from going and helping other entrepreneurs in what I already did. And so that's what I have been doing. I took a short break when I left Snow, December 2019. I took a short break. COVID hit, the pandemic hit. And so that was another sign from the universe, like, okay, Brenda, everybody's going to go through this, but now you have the chance to really gather your thoughts and understand where you want to go forth. And I was going to take this huge, long 6-month trip down to South America, my whole kumbaya soul searching. And I got to do this on my own, and this journey never stops. This soul searching never stops. And so I am pivoting. I am accepting. I am so much more comfortable with uncertainty, and I'm developing and becoming somebody that I thought would always be scared of uncertainty and not planning. But I get to love the part of me that's an organizer and a planner, but also love the part that I'm becoming, that my horoscope does not say I am. But I'm loving the part of being okay with uncertainty, because I know that I will just roll with the punches. I know that I'm going to figure out that I'm going to be okay, and I'm going to enjoy life as it comes. And so I took a small break, and I just casually started consulting, and I really want to ramp up my consulting in both branding and customer experience. And I have other projects in the work. One of them is a master class that I'm so excited I'm working on to finally be selfless enough to share what I've learned. I'm tired of hiding it, and it's the fear of hopefully it's perfect enough, just like this episode. So I'm going to roll with it. I'm going to pivot, change, and hopefully deliver the best experience, whether we work together or not. I just want to make sure that I help you and whoever I'm working with, help them in their business or whatever it is that we partner up. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm just truly enjoying life, and I am an advocate of being a learner of life and going through this journey of learning and giving and being more loving and more vulnerable. And so I am so happy you got through this episode, got to listen a little bit about my story, why I'm doing this. And I truly want to be that person for you. And hopefully this is just a conversation and there's no judgment. And I want to develop this community and this space and bring people on and talk about my experience and just being open and real and raw about like what is going on in the world today and what we've all been through that somebody wish they told them when they were going through it. And so that is my biggest mission, is like I want to share what I wish somebody had told me when I was on my bathroom floor crying, knowing that I don't know what the hell I'm going to do if I choose to leave everything that I know. This is the voice I wish I told myself, or I wish I heard on my lowest moments. This is what I wish I heard when we had to pay all this money for shipping, or the orders weren't right, or we got this huge mistake, or the warehouse is like falling apart because all these backed orders. Like, I just wish somebody told me this. I just wish somebody told me that. And now that I know and I'm here and I'm telling you that, like, that's what I want for this podcast. And so thank you for listening. And I hope to see you, hear you, talk to you, connect with you virtually through this platform, through many of the other platforms. And I just hope this message and content finds you well and helps you in any way during your journey.